Beyond the Hustle: How Black Women Entrepreneurs Are Rewriting Success. Good evening, everyone. I'm truly honored to stand before you today to share insights that have fundamentally shifted my understanding of entrepreneurship, particularly as it relates to Black women. These revelations came through my extraordinary conversation with Shimeika Lutz, a visionary whose work has not only transformed businesses, but has redefined the very metrics by which we measure success in entrepreneurial spaces. Shimeika isn't just a thought leader, she's a movement creator whose research and advocacy have illuminated pathways that challenge our traditional narratives about what it means to build and grow as Black women in business. When we talk about entrepreneurship in America, we've been fed a steady diet of rugged individualism. The lone genius, the maverick who breaks all rules, the exceptional individual who, through superhuman determination, overcomes impossible odds. This narrative becomes even more pronounced when discussing Black women entrepreneurs, who are often celebrated primarily for their extraordinary resilience, their ability to push through barriers that shouldn't exist in the first place. But what if I told you this narrative isn't just incomplete? It's fundamentally misleading? What if the most revolutionary aspect of Black women's entrepreneurship isn't their individual triumph against odds, but something far more transformative? This is the profound insight Shimeika Lutz shared with me, that while Black women are indeed demonstrating remarkable business growth, with average revenues increasing by 32.7% and outpacing broader market trends, what truly distinguishes these entrepreneurs is something we rarely discuss. Is their deliberate focus on building networks, creating infrastructure, and establishing ecosystems that empower others to succeed alongside them. This shift from solo achievement to community driven acceleration fundamentally challenges everything we thought we knew about entrepreneurship. And it's not just changing individual businesses, it's transforming entire industries. Let me share three key insights from my conversation with Shimeika that illuminate this transformation. First, there's the power of collective success. True progress comes when we build systems, networks, mentorship pipelines, funding avenues that lift up whole communities of Black professionals and entrepreneurs rather than focusing solely on individual wins. The most innovative Black women entrepreneurs understand that their success is meaningless if it doesn't create pathways for others to follow. Second, we're witnessing resilience meet reinvention. The most successful Black women entrepreneurs aren't just overcoming obstacles, they're transforming those challenges into strategic advantages for themselves and others in their ecosystem. They're not just navigating around barriers, they're dismantling them and building new structures in their place. Third, visibility drives opportunity. As more Black women lead high growth startups, their visibility inspires future generations and helps break down barriers and access to capital, mentorship, and markets, expanding what's possible across industries. When we see ourselves represented in spaces previously closed to us, our imagination about what's possible expands exponentially. These insights force us to reconsider what success really means. Is it about individual achievement, or is it about creating systems that enable collective advancement? Is it about overcoming barriers, or is it about transforming the landscape so those barriers no longer exist for others? Let me bring these principles to life through the stories Shemeka shared during our conversation. Consider Morgan DeBaun, founder of Blavity Inc., In 2014, Debon launched this media tech company in Los Angeles with a mission to empower Black millennials through digital platforms. Like many Black women founders, she faced significant hurdles accessing venture capital, a reflection of systemic gaps where less than 10% of entrepreneurs are Black and VC backed startups led by Black founders remain rare. But Debon didn't just focus on overcoming these barriers for herself. She recognized a deeper problem: the absence of authentic digital spaces for young African Americans to connect, share ideas, and build community. This insight came from her personal experiences at Washington University in St. Louis, where she witnessed firsthand the hunger for representation and connection among Black students. Instead of creating just another media company, Debon built an ecosystem, leveraging grassroots marketing strategies through social media networks within her community, while actively seeking out diverse investors who believed in Blavity's mission. Today, Blavity has grown into one of the largest digital communities for multicultural millennials with multiple brands under its umbrella, including Afro Tech, the largest conference for Black tech professionals. What makes Debon's story so revolutionary isn't just her personal success, it's how she's created infrastructure that enables countless others to find their voice, build their networks, and access opportunities previously unavailable to them. She didn't just build a business, she created a platform that amplifies diverse voices while demonstrating scalable business models rooted in cultural authenticity. Or consider Jewel Burke Solomon, who founded PartPick in Atlanta in 2013. PartPick developed visual recognition technology to streamline parts identification for manufacturers, a highly technical field with few minority leaders. Solomon encountered bias both at investor meetings, where only about 14% of VC backed startups were run by women, and within traditional industrial sectors, unaccustomed to diversity led innovation. Solomon's journey began after seeing inefficiencies firsthand while working at McMaster Car Supply Company. She envisioned tech solutions informed directly by user needs that were overlooked elsewhere. But rather than simply pushing through barriers to achieve personal success, Solomon built credibility through partnerships with major corporations like Amazon while assembling a team reflective of her commitment to inclusion at every level. From engineering hires upward, Amazon acquired PartPick in 2016, and Solomon became head of Google Startups US. She raised over $1.5 million pre acquisition, was featured in Forbes 30 Under 30, and helped shape Google's approach towards supporting underrepresented startup founders nationally. What's remarkable here isn't just that Solomon succeeded against the odds, it's that she used her success to create new pathways for others, proving that minority led teams can drive innovation even within legacy industries and broadening perceptions about who leads breakthrough companies today. And then there's B. Dixon, founder of the Honeypot Company in Atlanta in 2014. The Honeypot offers plant based feminine care products specifically catering to underserved markets, including women of color. Dixon struggled with retail access due partly to biases against both gender and race, and initially lacked traditional funding pathways common among white male peers. Dixon's journey began with her own health struggles. When she couldn't find products that addressed her needs, she created her own solution, then realized through candid discussions with other Black female consumers that she wasn't alone in being ignored by mainstream markets. Instead of accepting these limitations, Dixon secured early investment from New Voices Fund, which targets businesses led by women of color. She built a loyal customer base via direct to consumer channels before landing shelf space at Target nationwide. The Honey Pot became one of America's fastest growing natural personal care brands, with sales surging following national exposure campaigns emphasizing authenticity over conformity. It became the first plant based feminine wash sold nationally and was recognized as an innovator transforming wellness retail norms around inclusivity and diversity. But Dixon didn't stop at creating a successful product line. She set new standards across the consumer goods sector regarding representation, not just behind products, but throughout supply chain and vendor relationships too. She didn't just build a successful company, she created a model for how businesses can authentically serve underrepresented communities while transforming industry standards. These stories illuminate a profound shift in how we must understand entrepreneurial success. They show us that the most transformative entrepreneurs aren't just building businesses, they're building ecosystems. They're not just overcoming barriers, they're dismantling them. They're not just achieving individual success, they're creating new pathways for collective advancement. For too long, Black women have been celebrated primarily for their strength, their resilience, their ability to overcome. We've been taught that success means pushing through barriers through sheer force of will, often at great personal cost. But what if there's another way? What if true strength lies not in shouldering burdens alone, but in creating systems where those burdens are shared? What if success isn't measured by individual achievement, but by collective advancement? The entrepreneurs Shimeika highlighted aren't just succeeding within existing frameworks, they're creating entirely new ones that center the needs, experiences, and strengths of communities historically pushed to the margins. They're demonstrating that when we build from our authentic experiences rather than trying to fit into structures not designed for us, we create something more powerful, more sustainable, and more transformative. This isn't about rejecting resilience, it's about reimagining it. It's about recognizing that true resilience isn't just about withstanding pressure, but about transforming systems so that crushing pressure isn't a prerequisite for success. So I challenge you today, how will you use your unique position, not just your talent, to create opportunities that uplift others alongside yourself? Will you measure your success solely by what you achieve? Or will you begin to measure it by who rises with you? Will you simply navigate existing systems, or will you have the courage to build new ones? The world doesn't need more solo success stories. It needs architects of ecosystems where many can thrive. It needs pioneers who understand that the most revolutionary act isn't breaking through barriers alone, but creating pathways where those barriers no longer exist for anyone. This is our call to action, to reimagine success not as a zero sum game, but as a collective journey, to build businesses that don't just generate profit, but generate possibility, to create models of leadership that transform not just our individual circumstances, but the very landscapes in which we operate. Because when we do this, when we shift from individual hustle to collective ecosystem building, we don't just change businesses, we change lives, we change industries, we change the future. Thank you